Brown on February 14th, citing permit issues. Brown says it was a panel discussion, not a party. The city later apologized for inaccurate information, and Brown says he's considering legal action. Several Democrats, including New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, plan to boycott tonight's State of the Union. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries say they will attend. Jeffries has invited the family of the late Jesse Jackson, while Schumer will host the mother of a New York City student currently being held by ICE. And Salt and Peppa are being inducted into the NAACP Image Awards Hall of Fame. Cheryl Salt James, Sandra Pepin Denton, and DJ Spinderella will receive the honor during the February 28th ceremony airing on BET. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The ASICS Los Angeles Marathon on March 8th takes you from stadium to the stars. Whether you're a seasoned marathoner or a first-time participant, the Los Angeles Marathon offers an unforgettable experience for runners of all levels. LA, move your body, move your mind with ASICS.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
On this day, February 24th in 1964, in Miami, a 22-year-old boxer named Cassius Clay delivered a seventh-round knockout against Sonny Liston to win his first World Heavyweight Championship. Clay went on to win 2 more heavyweight titles, but on both occasions, he was known as Muhammad Ali. Ali was the World Heavyweight Champion for 11 years during his iconic career. Congratulations to the men and women swimming teams at HBCU Howard University. Both teams won the Northeast Conference Championship at the conference meet in Geneva, Ohio. First time ever for Howard's women's program, third title in 4 years for the Howard men. The first ever Chicago HBCU Baseball Classic will be played this year at Wrigley Field, the longtime home of the Chicago Cubs. Prairie View A&M will meet up with Alabama A&M on Saturday, May 2nd. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man. Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA. Talk 1580, download the app.
Jackson Jr. for the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Tenacious Tuesdays. And what makes it tenacious on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show is none other than Attorney Barbara Arnwine, president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition, internationally renowned for contributions on critical justice issues, including the passage of the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1991 and the 2006 reauthorization of the provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Currently, she is also the co-chair and facilitator of the National Commission for Voter Justice, the Millennial Votes Matters convenings, and the Voting Rights Alliance. She was the head of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law from February 1989 until June of 2015 and holds the honorific title of President Emeritus. Attorney Barbara Arnwine, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and more specifically, On the Grind with Barbara Arnwine.
It is a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Barbara, before we get to your friend Jesse Jackson, this is going to be a tough couple of weeks or 10 days or so for all of us. Barbara, my father would insist that I ask you to fill in the blanks on what's going on in the world beyond him and beyond the recognition that we will appropriately give him. What should we be focusing on right now as a coalition, Barbara?
It's very probable that tomorrow the Supreme Court will issue one of the most devastating voting rights decisions ever. The Louisiana versus Calais case is very likely to come out tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And yes, because when you look at the docket and what they had already heard and what they've already issued decisions on, most of those decisions are out. There's only, two big ones, and they're both very important to voting rights. And that is the Calais decision and the birthright decision. But Calais was argued earlier, if I'm correct. And they do have, and they have announced that they're going to issue opinions tomorrow. And they did issue opinions today. And it was not one of the cases. Instead, it was a case that basically said you can't sue the United States Postal Service for failing to deliver your mail. So that's a whole different subject. But that's the real deal is everybody have your ears on alert. If you hear Calais, Callais, Louisiana versus Calais or Calais, whatever they say, that is a major decision
Barbara,
that will impact voting rights.
Barbara, I thought this decision was going to be decided in June. We can save that for later. But why don't you, with the last 3.5, 4 minutes that we have, share with our listeners what the state of the Voting Rights Act is and what the Calais decision will ultimately do. Barbara?
Right now it's endangered. It's a state of the Voting Rights Act, and based on whatever Calais does, it could put it on life support. I just want people to be that clear that the most important part of the Voting Rights Act is Section 2. Section 2 is the part that says that if you discriminate on the basis of race and all the other factors that are prohibited, that you could be found liable. The problem is that once you are found liable, the question is, what's the remedy? And courts have been ordering as a remedy for decades and other, vicious voter suppression. They have been ordering the creation of majority minority districts to make up for all those years that African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, and Asian Americans have been denied their voting rights, and where their effort to vote has been diluted by redistricting that was determined by a racist push of the scales to make sure that blacks could not be elected. So this is really important, folks, because what they're going to try to do is say that somehow remedying and making sure that racial discrimination is corrected, that there is no remedy that you can effectuate that would make things equal or better. That all you can do is say, stop it, if you can. But also, there are arguments in this case that say that the entirety of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is unnecessary and unconstitutional because we have, they allege, no racial discrimination in voting. So that's serious, people. We have relied on the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to make so many advances. If this case goes adverse, if it really goes the worst adverse, we could lose up to, Hakeem Jeffries said the other day, 25 black members of Congress or people of color from Congress. So I want people to absolutely understand that we are on watch. And I think that this whole State of the Union is a setup for them to push tonight the SAVE Act. And they're going to use this case, if it comes out tomorrow, to justify. Even though it's not related, they're going to still use it to justify passing the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is a disaster, and we can talk about that on the other side, but it is a massive federal voter suppression bill.
During first Reconstruction from 1865 to 1896, 16 African Americans were elected to Congress, 14 in the House and 2 in the United States Senate. By the turn of the century, after the Tilden-Hayes Compromise and the Plessy versus Ferguson decision, we went from 16 to 0. 0 in the Congress.
0.
People are profoundly concerned that we could cut the Congressional Black Caucus, its present numbers, nearly 62 in half, and lose as many as 198 Black state legislators and Hispanic state legislators if the Supreme Court offers an adverse decision to Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 tomorrow. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. We're on the grind with Barbara Arnwine. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaped his wedding date, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church, getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month Luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're at KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest on Tenacious Tuesday is none other than attorney Barbara Arnwine. She is the president and the founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition and one of Jesse Jackson Sr.'s closest and dearest friends and advisors. And the briefing that she just gave us on the Robinson versus Calais decision is exactly the kind of briefing that Barbara Arnwine would have given to Jesse Jackson if he were with us to this day. Make no mistake about it. They would be strategizing on their response to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the potential unprecedented attack on Section 2. Barbara, if you were advising today the Reverend Jesse Jackson, what else is on the table and on the agenda?
Well, he would be so happy that that the primary is taking place right now in Texas for all the federal offices and a whole lot of state offices, and he would be beyond happy to know that Transformative Justice Coalition is on the ground in Texas with over a dozen people, plus a team of brilliant partner Texas organizations. There's about 20 plus of us who are running around Texas with the John Lewis Good Trouble Vote Bus that he loved and would laugh whenever he would see it. Rainbow Push is on the logos on the side of the bus. So people can see that connection to Reverend Jackson and to the wonderful work of RPC. And we're working with some of his closest buddies like Bishop Dixon, Commissioner Rodney Ellis. All of our work is nonpartisan. So we're not telling anybody who to vote for, but I'm going to tell you what we're doing. We're helping people to vote. That bus is giving people rides to the polls. That bus is going out to churches and turned it out this last Sunday. 100 cars.
Wow.
Followed the bus to the polling place, and it was so many cars they had no room for them. They had to encircle the polling place for all those people to get out of those cars and go vote. It is just amazing, folks. One thing that people told us today on my radio show, earlier at 12, was that sadly, a lot of people in Houston, in Harris County, because of the voter suppression, are under a lot of fear. They're to put up signs saying it's time to vote. They're afraid to tell anybody it's time to vote. They're afraid. They don't know what these voter suppression laws allow them to do or don't do, but they don't want to go to jail. So they're afraid. Fear, F-E-A-R, writ large, has been ruling in Texas this election season. But what we've done, and with our mighty partners, the Black Voters Matters, Peer Justice, come on, Legal Women Voters, all of these NAACP, Houston, all of these amazing partners, what we've been, and SEIU, and all of these great partners, we've been able to go back and say, no. We don't fear, we have courage. That's what your dad would have told us. He would have said, be courageous in this moment. There's nothing for them to fear but us when we turn out. So what's been happening, folks, and I'm just talking about the facts, is that at this moment, Democrats have been outvoting Republicans, yes, in red Texas, by almost 3-1. Your dad would have been happy to see Black voter turnout, Latino voter turnout is up. Turnout among young people is up. We're fighting. Black voter turnout is up in some counties, a little bit down in some others, but we're fighting to get everybody out to vote during early voting. Early voting ends on the 27th. February 27th is the end of early voting. The polls are open from 7 to 7 p.m., 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on March 3rd is the general election. So we originally were only going to be there for early voting, but there's such a demand for our bus, such a demand for our presence, such a demand for this voter encouragement and assistance. And we've been teaching with our voter guides from the League of Women Voters, been teaching people how to vote. Get ready for this, Jesse. how to vote the 113-page ballot. So we've been, yes, we're not telling people who to vote for, but how you get through an hour-long ballot. That's what it's been taking people, an hour long. And they're wondering, why is senior voting down in Texas? Because seniors have the greatest difficulties handling an hour-long ballot. So what we've been doing is helping people to understand how they can vote that, what they can do in order to get through that ballot. And some of our people have been going in because people have been saying, "Will you, honey child, will you please come in with me and help me?" And some of our people have been going in and helping folks. Like your dad always loved to talk about that you're entitled to voter assistance if you need it. And so we've been assisting voters. We've been taking people to the polls. We've been canvassing. We marched like crazy. We marched with TSU. Perry View heard about it, said, "We want to march too." We went to Houston Community College. So we've been absolutely busy. And I am just so proud of Daryl Jones, Attorney Daryl D. Jones, my co-leader of the Transformative Justice Coalition, because he's on the ground. He's been there since the 16th, and he is running that operation. And I'm so grateful for Roshan Evans and all of the people from Pure Justice who have been just totally engaged and totally involved with this fight. This has been tremendous. And guess what? While we've been there, we've been threatened with the police, right? Because they don't like seeing that big old bus running around telling people it's time to vote.
So
they don't like it when we pull up and 50 people jump off to vote. They don't like that.
Right.
Anyway.
My dad would right now my dad would intervene in this, and he'd say, Barbara, I want to speak in 10 churches this coming Sunday. If you can get somebody to coordinate me speaking in 10 churches, I'll speak in 10 per churches in order to get the vote out. And then he would say, Barbara, that bus that you're talking about sounds like it's costing a lot of money and a lot of time for the staff. Barbara, what can we do? He would say, what can the Rainbow do to support the Transformative Justice Coalition?
Please, everybody, if you can make a donation to tjcoalition.org. Go to tjcoalition.org, tjcoalition.org, and make a contribution. Your contributions count at whatever amount, because it does take a lot of money to put that bus on. It does. We don't exploit anybody. We pay our young people to come in and be our freedom riders, and they are magnificent. They are just blowing the minds of everyone because of their enthusiasm, their smarts, their commitment. And they've been doing all kinds of amazing things. So we make sure that they have the ability to have the funds to take time off of work, the funds to take time from school. We like to subsidize that. We also, one thing that's been telling is food insecurity. We love to take our food trucks. We love to pay for food trucks, DJs, to bring joy and to bring food and substances to these communities that have been underinvested in. So we have found out that food trucks have been amazingly popular, to put it mildly. And so we're doing everything we can to serve the community. If your dad had been there, he would have been rocking, because Bishop Dixon talked about dry bones.
Not dry bones in the valley.
Yes, he did. He talked about dry bones.
Not making them live again. Hey, Barbara, let me tell you something. There's a theme that's running through our show right now because of your brilliance. And that theme is, first of all, Robinson versus Calais, an attack on the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The decision could very well come down tomorrow. We are burying this week the Reverend Jesse Jackson, a champion of voting rights since the Voting Rights Act of 1965. We are looking at the challenges to the Voting Rights Act of 1965, even as we engage in an election in Texas to get people to vote early on a ballot that exceeds 100 pages.
113 pages.
113 pages. Here, the themes continue to roll. And then we are also looking at, the more I think about it, we're also looking at the Selma to Montgomery campaign.
Yes.
My younger brother, Yusuf Jackson, is taking 6 buses from the city of Chicago to the historic reenactment of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. I think that is March 6th through about the 11th. I don't know the specific dates.
March
but
5th through the 9th.
Oh, the 5th through the 9th.
And the bridge crossing is on the 8th. That's Sunday the 8th.
All of this is taking place all around the ether of voting. And President of the United States will talk about the passage of the Safety Act.
The SAVE Act.
The SAVE Act in the middle of all of this. And it all centers around voting. Now, if you can try and tie all of this together for us, Barbara, we have about 4 minutes before we come forward, but our voting and the democracy is under attack, Barbara.
But it's a reminder, folks, that voting is central to democracy, that we have what's called a Republican form of government. And that means that you have a representative who you elect to go to the chamber, whatever the legislative chamber is, to vote on your behalf. And if you don't elect that person, then they're going to be representing somebody else. They're going to be there not for you. They're going to be there for somebody else. Don't allow the money interests to determine who represents you. Don't allow other people to determine who represents you because you sat at home. How about, I don't have time to vote? Really? Talking about it ain't gonna make a difference. Really? I mean, if you're sitting up right now mad about ICE, honey, that's because you need to be concerned about who is sitting in that chamber representing you. If you're sitting home right now and you're upset, as I've been watching all this, everybody on social media, you're upset about the black men being hung. You say, why won't they investigate? Because you did not elect the right people to make sure an investigation would happen. Folks, your vote is everything. Not only is your vote critical, what you do after the vote, holding these elected officials accountable, even if you didn't vote for them, hold them accountable. I just can't begin to talk about the power of the vote, the criticality of the vote. You're using your power. When you don't vote, you might as well take hundreds of thousands of dollars and just throw them out in the street. And just let them blow away with the wind, because everything, who's going to pick up your trash? How many street lights you're going to have? Are your roads going to be paved? Are your schools going to be good? Or do you have reasonable water bills? Do you have, good environmental protection? Every bit of that, every single bit of that is based upon legislative action.
Barbara, we're so proud of you. We're so proud of the work that you're doing at the Transformative Justice Coalition. And I hope that those of you who can hear my voice will support the Transformative Justice Coalition. You don't have to leave Los Angeles or Chicago or New York to go to Texas. Let Barbara go do it. And that's exactly what she's doing with a big bus and a dozen or more employees and supporters and interns and people of goodwill, getting people out to vote in Texas. This is what Barbara does. And we just want to be the wind beneath her wings as we transform justice into a coalition of the willing to save democracy. So proud of Barbara Arnwine. If my father were with us today, he would be working very closely with his friend, Barbara Arnwine, because they could be in high heaven right now trying to defend the rights that they've gained and we've gained as a people since first Reconstruction. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and it couldn't be more appropriate that during this hour, Barbara Arnwine, the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition, is our very special guest. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm
Amber Payton with BIN News Now. California Governor Gavin Newsom is drawing criticism following a recent appearance with Black Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens.
I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy.
During a book tour stop in Atlanta, some critics accused Newsom of speaking in a way they felt was condescending toward Black voters. President Trump will deliver the State of the Union tonight before a joint session of Congress, marking the first address of his second term. Democratic leaders are urging members to avoid theatrics during the speech. According to The Hill, Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is encouraging lawmakers to protest silently or skip the address if they cannot refrain from outbursts. And Google is apologizing after a system error sent some users a notification containing the N-word tied to coverage of the BAFTA Awards controversy. The company says safety filters failed and the alert has since been removed. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The A6 Los Angeles Marathon on March 8th takes you from stadium to the stars. Whether you're a seasoned marathoner or a first-time participant, the Los Angeles Marathon offers an unforgettable experience for runners of all levels. LA, move your body, move your mind with A6.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
On this date, February 24th in 1964, in Miami, a 22-year-old boxer named Cassius Clay delivered a seventh-round knockout against Sonny Liston to win his first World Heavyweight Championship. Clay went on to win 2 more heavyweight titles, but on both occasions, he was known as Muhammad Ali. Ali was the World Heavyweight Champion for 11 years during his iconic career. Congratulations to the men and women's swimming teams at HBCU Howard University. Both teams won the Northeast Conference Championship at the conference meet in Geneva, Ohio. First time ever for Howard's women's program, 3rd title in 4 years for the Howard men. The first ever Chicago HBCU Baseball Classic will be played this year at Wrigley Field, the longtime home of the Chicago Cubs. Prairie View A&M will meet up with Alabama A&M on Saturday, May 2nd. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavish Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the Southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest is none other than our most tenacious host, the president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition. Barbara, welcome forward to your show.
It's your show, and I'm lucky that you have me on as your guest. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm not on the grind quite like Barbara. I grind here as best I can, but she is actually on the move, and we are going to continue to support your work because we know that your work is our work. Barbara, let me ask you a question. What else? Now that we see that the Voting Rights Act itself and that the primary election process, the midterms, are squarely in front of us, what would you be sharing today with Jesse Jackson in terms of looking forward to some of the challenges that are still in front of us? I know that you did some amazing work on the walkout and the No King's Day to get the attention, if you will, of the tyrant. The question is, how does that work continue as well?
Well, I wanted to use this opportunity because it's the last appearance for me of this Black History Month. And I wanted to do one little special tribute to the 100th anniversary of Black History Month because I have with me the mighty Caitlin Arnwine, who has been working on our daily weekly Black History Month series. And she did something really different this year that I think a lot of the parents listening to you and those who you'll teach young children would love to know about. And also the adults would love to hear about the adult part of our Black History Month series. So in honor of Carter G. Wilson, your dad who loved him some Black history. Oh, did he love it? There's so much to talk about. So Caitlin, if you don't mind, I'm going to have Caitlin Arnwine, who is my...
We're excited. We're excited.
She's my daughter-in-law, and she also is the mom of a new 6-day-old baby, my first biological grandchild, Miss Imani Vera Jesse Joy. Did you hear that, Jesse?
Wow. Wow. Caitlin, share with us your amazing work and what you're doing for Black History Month.
Yes, so every year since 2017, the Transformative Justice Coalition with the Voting Rights Alliance and other organizations has made a Black History series where every day a new story is put out, a new article, and I'm the author of that series. It's a new social media post, it's a calendar event, and then newsletters are sent out every day as well. Well, this year I was trying to teach I also have another daughter, she's 14. So I was trying to teach her about, she just turned 14. So I was trying to teach her about, the Constitution. And I was reading her some of the articles and I realized they were too dense for her because I was having to summarize. I'm like, I should do a kid series. And then I was like, I should really do a kid series. So I started creating for her and then my newest daughter, Amani, a series called History Detectives. This is the Voting Rights Unit. But it's where kids go back in time. It follows 12-year-old Hope, 12-year-old Abraham, and 8-year-old Amani as they travel back in time to solve to help Black historical figures and events move along when progress gets impeded by the twister. That's somebody who likes to twist time and impede progress. So they need to go investigate. So it's a secret kid-run organization of history detectives that go back in time. And
That's amazing.
yes,
That's amazing.
yes,
Let me ask you a question. So how can we get access to the
yes.
series? Please.
You can go to tjcoalition.org. It's tjcoalition.org and sign up for our newsletter. We're going to be, because it's the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, we're going to be sending them out even unto March as well. And then every article is about 24 to 32 paragraphs. It's been put through, reading tests to make sure it's on a 4th through 6th grade reading level, so you can perfectly read it to your kids. It all comes with also like images. These are all AI generated, but we would love an artist though. With various images as well about the historical figures or whatever's going on at the time. And so, and we plan to make a special one for Jesse Jackson called "I Am Somebody."
Amazing. I do have a question. So what has been the response if your children are the if you will, the focus group of this article? What have you observed from them or in them in your sharing about the Constitution and the fairly difficult concepts that you're now suggesting a 4th grader needs to learn to digest?
Great question. So actually, during the baby shower, there was like 4 kids here, and then I have my own daughter, of course, right, who doesn't like to, teenager doesn't like to give me any credit, that kind of teenage attitude. So when I read her the first story, she said it was good. She laughed at the part, she liked it, and then I've included in each of the articles a little quiz as well that you can give to kids. So when I got done reading the first one during the baby shower to the 4 kids that were here,
Tell them the ages. Yeah.
yeah, the kids were about ages 8 to 12, and one of the little boys, he was like, "Well, is there more? When's the next one?"
Wow.
And then so I have a little quiz, and so I did the little quiz with everyone, and I was like, is it Declaration of Independence or Declaration of Independence? What does this mean? What was the name of Hope's dog? So there's questions in there that are designed to be easy, and then there's questions in there that are just specifically about it.
I'm particularly proud of this work because, as you know, the nation is not only celebrating the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, we are also commemorating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And as you know, July 4th, 1776, 250 years later, is July 4th, 2026. And the timing of your work I find to be absolutely fascinating and appropriate in large measure because, Frederick Douglass offered a critique of July.
Yes, he did.
And the Negro's very presence in America offers a critique of July 4th every single July 4th. And here you come with an instructional process for 8 to 12 years old, pointing to the significance of our history during this period. That's just brilliant and extremely timely.
Yes.
And what you'll love to know is that the children who were here just 3 weeks ago for the baby shower, because time flies, that they were African American, they were white, and they were Latino, and they absolutely loved it. All of them, which shows you the brilliance of a well-written piece. And I think that Caitlin's been so creative, and the doggy Prince in the story is really active also. And so you're going to find the whole story is so creative, it's so modern. A lot of technology is involved. I think kids are just going to be blown away as those 4 were. We were really surprised because it was at the end of the baby shower. They had been playing and running hide and seek in my house for about 4 hours already. And their parents were saying, get your coats, it's time to go. But when they got to hear the story, they wanted more. So that's how good a job she's done.
You know, I can only imagine, Barbara, what I can share with you is that, you know, July 4th is a very complicated date from July 4th, 1776.
Yes.
If you are an immigrant and you are hiding somewhere in the United States from right now, July 4th is a very complicated history.
Yes.
To reflect upon the fact that you are in hiding.
Yes.
And so exposing part of not only the glory and the grandeur of July 4th, but the hypocrisy of it all.
Yes.
Every single generation has an obligation to, as Jesse Jackson would say, to make America better, to keep hope alive, to proclaim our somebodyness in this context. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show as we commemorate African American History Month and the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence with Barbara Arnwine and her daughter. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My name is Tyrone Owens, and this is my home for 23 years that burned in the fire. Me and my wife, Charlene, we had this whole yard decorated every year.
This was the house that sparkled throughout the entire neighborhood on all the holidays. It's a community that will never be the same due to the negligence of a utility company. So I am pretty upset about that.
We were nowhere near being able to rebuild with our insurance. It's going to cost $1 million to put your house back up.
I want to get back to that point where we were before the fire. I'm starting to get emotional, but I'll work through it. LA Fire Justice has been wonderful for us. They're just caring people. We have all faith in them.
Big ups to LA Fire Justice, who's given us hope to rebuild 100%.
Advertisement. Douglas Foster, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like nuclear reactor safety expert.
I disabled the backup cooling system. It was making such an annoying noise. You heard it, right? It was like,
we're on a countdown to core failure.
And you're saying we don't want that?
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
I was like, it's really true.
Wanna talk with me? Come on and listen to me.
I was prepared for it to be so happy.
I know.
KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest on Tenacious Tuesday is none other than our most tenacious contributor, Attorney Barbara Arnwine from the Transformative Justice Coalition. And today she's brought her daughter with us. And before we conclude in this segment on hopefully both a word of hope from Barbara Arnwine and her daughter, will evenly split the time at the appropriate time, I do have this question for Barbara Arnwine, and that is this. There's a lot of focus on Jesse Jackson 84 and 88, but Jesse Jackson 92, 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020. Most of these conventions he spoke at, but in between, when he ran for president, he held Democratic candidates accountable who were running in the primary process, and he made them respect and deal with the issues of this coalition under the threat that he would not endorse them if they did not pay attention to the issues, Barbara, that you and Jesse Jackson have championed for decades. Barbara, Jesse Jackson was a beast.
He was amazing. And what I tell people about him, we've had incredible orators in our history. Some of the best in the world have been African Americans. We've had incredible organizers in our history. Some of the best have been African Americans. We've had, incredible preachers, incredible speakers, incredible thinkers. But what's beautiful about Reverend Jackson was that he was synergistic. He was all those things in one, and he had boldness. He had boldness. People don't understand that about him. That when they said in good old Brunswick that if you come and bring these black pastors like Reverend Jackson, then we're going to show them something, their little Klan threat that they made in the courtroom. But it was Reverend Jackson, when he heard about that, they said, what? He said, how soon can I get there? And he came.
Bring it.
He came, and he didn't just come by himself. He brought other ministers, and he walked down that Brunswick Street with his aides were all telling him, "No, Reverend, you shouldn't be walking." He was like, "I'm walking. I'm marching." They talk about where I can't come. I'm marching, and he marched proud. I just can't even begin to talk about how bold he was when they said, "We're gonna put you in jail because you're over there interfering in foreign policy with the Syrians and all this, and we don't want to hear, you shouldn't be doing that." And when he got all those hostages released and he brought them home, they had to back off and say, "You can't quarrel with success. Thank you." You see, that was what he was. He didn't just follow polling data. He made polling data because of his boldness. I just can't believe it. I know that Daryl was trying to get in to say a word to you also, as he's getting on his way to his plane. But Caitlin just wanted to say one last comment for the adults about the Black History Month series.
Yeah, so we didn't forget about the adults. There is an adult part to the series as well. It takes away all of the storyline of the kids and just focuses on what was going around at the time, like the Black massacres that were happening. It focuses on, like, for example, the kids article for the Declaration of Independence focuses on James Fortin, and then who's also the father-in-law of Robert Purvis and father to Harriet Fortin Purvis. And so the adult article goes more into detail about all three of those figures. So again, you can go to tjcoalition.org to sign up for the tjcoalition.org to sign up for the newsletter. And then you can get these stories straight to your inbox as well. And thank you so much for having me. And we do have an article on Reverend Jesse Jackson, and I'll be working on the kids article called "I Am Somebody" to really honor him.
Celeste, these are very difficult times, and I know that you work with young children. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes and your mother the final moment. Share a word of hope of what you would share with our children in the times that we find ourselves in.
I would say that our ancestors, like Reverend Jesse Jackson, fought during way more difficult times than we are going through now. I know it feels like what we're going through is a lot and it's just constant, and it is. But our ancestors had to deal with so much worse than that under way worse conditions, and they made it through, and they made it possible for you to get an education, and everything else that we can do now is because they fought for us, and especially because they fought for the right for us to vote and choose our elected officials. So it's important to remember that there is hope because we've done it before and we'll do it again.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Arnwine. Ms. Arnwine, Attorney Arnwine, your final thought.
Yes. I want to remind people that we study Black history because it tells us where we've been, it tells us how we overcome, but it also points us to the future, what we can do. Being like your dad, when every time you read about that National Commission, remember that he made that announcement that I was a commissioner and being in charge of this during a luncheon, and I almost dropped my whole lunch plate because he had never told me he was doing it. That's the kind of boldness he had and kind of beauty he had. So to everybody today, we know that evil is on its way. We're going to hear a lot of lies tonight during the State of the Union. But remember one thing, that you always have the power because you can fight back. You can win. And as your dad said, if we never lost a battle that we fought. It's very important for us to understand that when we fight, we win. Thank you so much. Much love to everyone. We'll be seeing you, on March 4th. We'll be seeing you on March 7th. Much love.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show with the president and her daughter of the Transformative Justice Coalition. What a rich program we've had today, commemorating, celebrating the life of Jesse Jackson, the work that they did together, the work that we have to complete to secure our rights to vote, to protect our democracy, to make life more affordable as Americans. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., grateful to Barbara Arnwine and to her daughter for participating in our show. This next week is going to be a very difficult one. And so I'm just grateful that you've prayed with me through this period.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful to KBLA for being strong with the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.